Amazing. So lovely to meet you all. My name is Ilham Ilyas. I work for 5 Minutes AI, and I will just share my screen. Give me a second. But yeah, so let's get started. Welcome everyone. This webinar is the 7 practical ways. As Adrian mentioned, we started with 5 and we climbed to 7. And I'm going to be walking you through some generally practical, hands-on stuff that you can start using maybe today, maybe this week. And for those of you who haven't come across 5 Minutes before, we're an AI-powered learning platform, micro-learning. So think TikTok-style bite-sized learning for compliance, for skills, for leadership, etc. And we help HR, compliance, and L&D teams upskill their people faster with way less admin. So I'm going to do a quick tour of the platform towards the end if you want to stick around. But mainly, this is the title and this is what we'll be covering. So I spend a lot of time working with HR leaders to figure out where AI can actually make a difference for the teams, not in just theory and big picture, but practically. And that's what today is really about. So let's get started. I think, oh, that's us. Oh, and this is our free compliance offer. So scan the QR code, book a call with us, and we'll be happy to share our compliance library with you, which you can tap into with your team or yourselves. So yeah, this is the offer on hand, and it's faster compliance. So it's like shorter, faster CPD, ROSPA accredited training. But yeah, let's get down to the webinar. So I actually wanted to start off, Adrian, with the poll. I'm not sure if we can trigger that right now.
Yes, we can. 2 seconds. You can't hear me. Sorry. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Polls. Launch.
Great. So this poll, I just want to understand where everyone's at in terms of their AI usage. Have you started recently? Are you not yet familiar? Do you use it occasionally or weekly, daily? Would love to understand how often you and the teams are using AI currently.
So I'll leave that for 5 seconds or so because it should be a fairly quick answer.
Yeah.
Vast majority of people. So let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Perfect. Let's see the results. Okay, amazing. A lot are saying daily. That's great. Weekly, a few not yet, which is also great because you've got lots to learn today as well, and I can share the top tips. Some occasionally, that's fab. So this slide, I actually wanted to start off with the top AI tools, and I wanted to go ahead and explain certain ones that you may be hearing about and like exactly what they're good at. So in terms of the tools landscape, I know a lot of you are at different stages of AI. Some of you are using it daily, some have not started. So it's designed for everyone, this webinar. And the tools we'll be referencing today are broadly in 2 tiers. So we have tier 1, the LLMs. So I will call them the big 3 because I think it's worth, I think they're worth having a go at, trying out. So that would be ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And in terms of how you can use which one and how to make informed choices rather than just defaulting, let's break down what the 3 tools are good at. So ChatGPT, it was built by OpenAI. This is probably the one that you've come across first and heard a lot about. So OpenAI's mission is broadly around developing AI that benefits humanity, as they say in their own words. ChatGPT was really the tool that put conversational AI into play around 2022, I believe. And its strengths are that it's versatile, it's got a huge user base. So there's an enormous community that you can default to and get help from if you ever find that you're stuck. The paid version of ChatGPT is also great in terms of like reasoning, writing, data analysis. What it can fall short on in general is sometimes it doesn't really follow along complex tasks or lots of instructions. Historically, image generation has been hit or miss, but right now, like I think it's at its best. So do give it another go. So that's ChatGPT. Second is Claude. So that's built by Anthropic. Anthropic was actually founded by former OpenAI researchers, and they wanted to take a different approach to AI and much stronger emphasis on AI safety. And I think they call it constitutional AI. That's how they refer to it. And essentially building models that are designed to be helpful, harmless, and honest. That's the sort of background to Claude. Claude is also my personal favorite for HR use cases. And it's generally because it's really good at following nuanced details, instructions, sensitively conveying information, which HR sometimes has to do. And it's also great at following detailed instructions. So if you give it a complex prompt with loads of conditions, like write this, make it balanced, avoid this, it follows that really well. And Claude tends to nail it in a way that sometimes other tools don't. So it's also brilliant at its artifacts feature, which lets you generate visual outputs. So think PowerPoints. In fact, this whole PowerPoint was built with Claude. We fed a skill, so a file to it with all our previous PowerPoints, and it was able to create this today, which is brilliant. It can even give you reports, data visualization really, really quickly. I think the limitation here is it's slightly more cautious about certain content, which occasionally means it sometimes won't give you answers that you need. So that's also something to play around with and get your hands on. And lastly, Gemini. So it's developed by Google DeepMind in particular. So Google's angle here is that the model is trained on broader, more up-to-date data sets. So Google has real-time access to the web information, and Gemini claims to specifically train on inclusive, values-aligned content in real time. And then for me, Gemini's biggest strengths are speed. It's very fast. Image generation is really great as well. So they've got something called Nano Banana in there. It can create images for email campaigns, as well as like images for decks, etc. It's also integrated with Google Workspace. So if you are a Google Workspace organization, you're probably already using it. So it can actually export directly into Sheets, into Docs, into Slides. So that's also great. And Google Workspace, you may already have access to Gemini Pro without you even knowing. So it's worth checking with your IT team if your Google Workspace allows for the Pro account. But yeah, those are the top three. And then we've got other tools here as well. So we've got Manus, which is great and coming up. So Meta has just acquired Manus. This was a AI agentic tool built in Singapore. It's great at building decks. If you give Manus a Excel sheet and ask it to fill it out, it will give you a filled out Excel sheet, which is wonderful. Perplexity is another one if you want to replace your search. We've got others in there as well. So there's image generation tools like Midjourney. There's avatar tools like Synthesia and Coliseum. But the idea really is for this slide to open your world to the other AI tools. So if you are defaulting to one, so let's say ChatGPT, maybe today or this week you want to try any of the others that I've presented to you today. But yeah, that's the overview of the top AI tools, what's out there. Now going into the use cases. So we've put together 7 high impact use cases, and the key here is identifying personally for yourselves which AI tools can help first. And secondly, I would just encourage you to do a simple exercise. So maybe you have a to-do list on your desk. Maybe you can take a picture of it and ask AI about your to-do list and where it can help you. So on my to-do list, I have loads of emails, and I know exactly how AI can help me with that. You might have some sort of analysis or research tasks that you have on your plate. Ask AI like, hey, this is my to-do list. How can you help me today? And that could be a good starting point. So the first use case I wanted to dive into was building a personalized 30, 60, 90-day roadmap. So strategic roadmap, this one's particularly close to, I guess, HR leaders, especially when you're taking on a new role or taking on a new initiative or new people or heading into a new quarter. What can happen is creating a comprehensive strategic plan can take hours of your day, right? 10 to 15 hours on research. You're scanning best practices, articles, benchmarking, really trying to understand what's relevant for your company. And juggling that alongside everything else you need to do can be a huge task. So with AI, you can get a solid first draft in minutes. So we've broken down the steps that you can follow. Here's the approach that we would recommend. So first of all is providing context. So don't just say, write me a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Give it your company size, your industry, your current challenges. The more context you give, the richer the output would be. And you can be cheeky here as well and ask about your competitors or companies in the same industry. AI tools have a wealth of data and knowledge that you can tap into without you needing to go out and read every research paper or article. So that would be my key here, is provide context. Second is generate the initial plan. So here you're asking AI to produce the plan, and then you can also go a step further and request it to prioritize. So which are the quick wins I can do today in the next 7 days, in the first 30 days, versus the long-term strategic moves. So you're separating the operational side of things to the long-term strategic side of things as well. So you have your eyes on both. And third, this is a tip that I really love, is instead of telling AI what to do, ask it to interview. So ask it to interview you. So ask it to ask you questions about your situation before generating the plan. And then it can even surface blind spots that you might not have thought about before, maybe you missed, and it produces a lot richer output. So ask AI to interview you before giving you the plan. And then iterate. So use it weekly, maybe sense check your progress against it, and just keep adjusting. So this alone, this roadmap, this plan, asking AI to do the research for you, to build the different benchmarks, and asking it to interview you could create a hyper-personalized plan in way less time. So yeah, so that's our first expert tip. Another expert tip here is use voice to text tools. So what we mean by that is, of course, you can type a prompt, but it can take you quite long to type, right? But if you're talking to AI, it would surface all the extra details that maybe you can't be bothered to type at times. And then second of all, you're just asking it, you're having a conversation with it, you're able to brainstorm faster. And that typing instead of, the voice to text and using your voice to prompt AI versus typing to use AI would save you even more time as well. So yeah, try maybe next time you use AI to use the voice function. So I know Gemini has this, ChatGPT has this. Talk to AI with your voice as opposed to typing. That could really help to speed things up and then add more richer context. And tip two, instead of giving AI all the answers, ask it to interview you with targeted questions to produce that richer, more tailored output. So yeah, that's the first use case. The second use case is learning and development. So this is really exciting because this is exactly what we live and breathe at 5 Minutes AI. So the pain point here we're trying to solve for is that an L&D person knows curating relevant content or plans or programs can actually be a very manual task and take a lot of time. So, you could spend weeks building a program that is often sometimes outdated as soon as you press launch on it. So this is exactly how we would break down that pain and make it an AI sort of solution. So first, there's two stages to it. So research. So before you build anything, maybe ask Gemini or Perplexity or ChatGPT to do your groundwork. So these tools can browse the web in real time, especially Gemini and Perplexity. So you can ask things like, hey, where are the most common skill gaps in first-time managers right now? And it can give you data based on hundreds of articles. You can even ask, hey, what leadership frameworks or leadership frameworks are popular right now, or something that a mid-sized organization or a small-sized organization would align well with. You can ask that. You can get it synthesized, sourced answers available to you in a few seconds rather than spending half a day at your desk researching. Perplexity is especially good here. So what it does is it can give you real-time search and then also sources of where the answers are coming from. So that way, if you are, writing an email out or you want to give further reading or you want to do the further reading, you're able to do that with AI. And then second is content and communication. So let's say you've built the program, you've researched, you've got all the great content aligned for it. Now it's about communicating and launching the campaign in an exciting way. So we did this recently with our partner, BD, Becton Dickinson. They're one of the largest medtechs in the world. They had a leadership program which was curated perfectly, but now it's about marketing it. So we created a 3-touch email campaign around this comic book theme. So this is a program to take you from normal manager to super manager. So all the briefs that we wrote with AI, all the emails, the imagery, it was created by Gemini to have that superhero like text to it. We had like comic strips as well, like, hey, this is you now after completing week 1 of the course. This is you next. So it's like them in like superhero costumes, etc. And yeah, we got 100% completion rates on that leadership program because of the way we were marketing it, because of the way we were pushing it, and because it was highly relevant to new managers at that time. So this whole thing, research, campaign, copy, visuals, it took us under 30 minutes to do all of that. And so if you think about any programs, any learning initiatives that you want to do, you can give back yourselves like 2.5 hours in a week by just using Gemini to research, write the emails, write the imagery, and then launch it. So that's learning and development. Now, third use case over here is employee sentiment analysis. So decoding the employee vibe and identifying retention risks instantly. So we've actually got a full webinar that we did where we take you through the tool and show you like screens of how the sentiment analysis will look at the end. But today I'm just going to talk through the pain and the possible prompts you can use here. So the problem is you've run a survey, you've got 300 open-ended text response from the team. Someone on the team is going to have to read it all, identify the themes, the risks, and present it back to leadership. So that can take days, weeks even, and it's prone to bias, right? So confirmation bias. We naturally focus on the responses that are confirming what we already think. So maybe, we can just cloud our own judgment. So maybe AI can help us holistically uncover things and make us think differently. So what I mean by that is you can tell AI to act as a talent retention specialist. So you can upload an anonymized data set, your survey reports, the performance review notes, whatever you have, you can ask for it to scan specifically the language in the notes and then the signals. And then that way, things like employees seeking new challenges, maybe feeling underutilized or lacking a clear growth path, that can all be uncovered. And in our full webinar that we've done on this, we've actually asked Claude to come up with individual retention cards scored by risk level. So for each high-risk employee, it gives line managers specific actions that they can do, what we can do in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, this month, this week. And essentially, it becomes a coaching playbook ready to hand over to the managers and then also senior leadership. So this transforms reactive HR into proactive HR. So instead of waiting for exit interviews, you can analyze the responses ahead of time and come up with plans and interventions to help employees feel more valued. Any new challenges, etc., you can tackle head on by analyzing the data, and for it to not take you too much time, it can take you less time, less hours per week by using tools like Claude. And then, that's another use case. Another top tip here is Claude or Manus can analyze survey data and export it from Excel. So you can upload an Excel sheet here. It doesn't need to be a PDF. It doesn't need to be any other format. And you can also ask it to identify themes and then request a branded summary document to share with your leadership team. So it can have your colors, logos, etc. And it just seems like you spent ages on it, but really you just asked AI. And another tip is always anonymizing data before uploading. So ask AI to flag any responses that suggest urgent well-being concerns, and then using the anonymized data set, you can actually match it to the employees that you have on the back end and prioritize following up with your team effectively. So this is a very interesting use case, and we do have a full webinar on this, which we can link and send out to you as well. And use case number 4, AI-powered recruitment and job descriptions. So this one is quite interesting. So ever since, AI has come into play, I think I read a fact somewhere that applications have risen by crazy amounts since 2022 because writing a job description or like cover letters, it takes like quite some time. But now it's become shorter. So application volumes are getting higher, but then also job descriptions and job postings can now be even quicker as well. So let's say, for example, you have a workflow here. You can ask it to draft a job description, ask AI, write an inclusive job description for role from these key skills. You can even ask it to fetch from any competitors, industries that you work with to make sure you're not missing out on any key skills that other people in the space are alluding to in their job description. So that's also great. You can ask it to remove bias, so identify and remove biased languages from the job description. You can even ask it for an interview guide. So based on this job description, what are some 5 behavioral questions I can ask for this role? And then post-interview as well. So if these are recorded with permission, you can actually feed the transcripts into AI for an objective candidate review. So it's really about debiasing hiring and then making your operational side of hiring much, much quicker. So I know Hireful also has a native AI shortlisting tool. Adrian, would you like to add more color to that?
I think I talk about AI shortlisting tool on every webinar I do, so I'm sure most people have seen it. But obviously, the idea is that it's there to assist you. It sort of ranks the applicants based on the questions that the recruiter set. So it's sort of the human sets the process, the human then makes the final decision. The AI is doing the grunt work of reading every CV and rating it. And what I would say is we've also rolled out job advert copy into our ATS, but it's a really interesting scenario when we looked at the next phase of that we're looking, which is sort of an audit of the advert copy, particularly around things like inclusion. Lots of my colleagues here were keen that the AI went in and like rejigged your advert and made it inclusive, and that isn't possible because if I took your company, Ilham, the way your approach to EDI is going to be different to another company's, the way you want to present it, even the context of how you're using certain phrases in it isn't, you can't really rely on the AI to do that. But what you can rely on the AI to do is to sort of make suggestions. Now, you might want to do this, you might want to do that. And I think that's one of the things that occurred to me in a lot of what you're going through is the AI is bringing loads of ideas back. And I guess because you're like me using AI all the time, I wondered whether you might want to just talk about the sort of human element of making the critical decision making to sort of choose the right options, because it will give you some slightly bizarre things. It's getting better and better, but even just not bizarre, but some stuff that just isn't relevant to your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So we take a human in the loop approach to AI. So it's not about blindly trusting AI with your data, first of all. So, of course, anonymizing. And then after the responses as well, you are the expert. Just remember that. So you are in the driving seat. So take AI to reduce the admin side of things, but you should always have that last look in terms of the outputs that it's creating, in terms of is this aligned to my company? Because again, you know your company best. The AI tool wouldn't. So please bear that in mind when doing any of this. So maybe for the sentiment analysis and what you're producing there, is it in the language that's encouraged in your organization? The job description and what AI is describing there. Again, it's generalizing across hundreds of things that it knows, but you know your people best, you know your organization best. So always have that human in the loop approach to using AI tools. And Louise, I found your comment really, really great. So Louise said, thanks. I'm increasingly being asked for AI policy to cover things such as sensitive data. Does anyone have such a policy? Perhaps I could ask AI. Exactly. You could ask Gemini, for example, for a template that then you can adjust with your IT team or with your data protection officer. So it's a great starting point. And I think starting is the hardest part sometimes, right? Knowing where to start, knowing what to write in that policy. If you have a template, then you can adjust and have it according to your company. So that's a great point. We do have templates there as well. Adrian, anything to add there?
We've actually got a template with some of my notes on it. I'll share it in the chat.
Oh, that's
Lots of other
amazing.
questions coming through, so let's just encourage the questions. I'll disappear off and we can circle back because I know people are going to ask about sensitive data and stuff like that. So I'm busy doing a little bit more research in that area as well. So if we circle back at the end, keep
Yeah.
questions, guys. I'm going to disappear and turn my camera off and hand it back to you.
And any other questions or any ways that you use AI for any of these use cases, do share in the chat because, again, we'd love to learn from each other. So that would be great. So going back to this next use case. So we've hit use case number 5, which is meeting automation. So auto transcribing calls and generating action items instantly. So, of course, I would just like to start by saying maybe this isn't encouraged in your organization, so take this with a pinch of salt, but maybe your organization is open to having note-taking tools involved in calls. I know Gemini and Microsoft also have meeting transcribers that you can turn on with a click, so always ask for permission, but this again can help you with tons of time. So HR professionals often spend between 30 to 50% of their week in meetings, and there are 2 time costs, right? So the time in the meeting itself and then the time after, which is remembering what was said, remembering the action items, writing up notes, sending summaries, etc. And sometimes when you are there writing notes in an active meeting, you're not there 100% listening, right? So maybe AI note taker, or maybe just recording the calls can really help you here. So the second part is where the AI can really come in to take over. So tools like Otter, Fireflies, can join your Zoom or Teams or Meets calls automatically and transcribe them in real time. And then it can also generate a structured summary and action list as well. So you can come out of a 1 hour meeting with a clean, shareable summary ready in minutes. And then within that hour, instead of spending time, writing notes, you can actually be present in those conversations as well. So this is something that perhaps if you don't do in your organization, you can start encouraging, which is, again, would save you a ton of time. And a pro tip as well here is Google Meets and Microsoft Teams. They have free built-in transcription. So rather than paying for a separate AI note taker, you can just connect and just press record on Google Meets or Teams and have the summaries delivered later. That's also possible. Tip 2 is creating a shared folder that automatically collects transcripts from all meetings. So, for example, Google Workspace, if you transcribe a meeting, it puts it in a folder, and then you can actually have a workflow, a Google workflow, where it can scan the transcripts in that folder and then tell you any action points you may have missed out on, or any like weekly digest of key decisions or outstanding actions that you still need to take. So that's great because it's like a PA that's been sat in your meetings, giving you the summary and then also the action items. And then you can, tip 3 as well, share examples of best existing meeting notes with AI. So let's say, you've got a summary that you've created of a meeting and you want all your other summaries to reflect that. You can feed that into your AI tool to basically get a format and a structure like that across any of your future meetings as well. So this just teaches AI your preferred format, level of detail, how you want the outputs to be immediately, so it can aim for that, which is great. I know sometimes you work with an AI tool and you're not very happy with the first response. It's easy to give up there, but what you can do with any of these tools is train it like, hey, this is how I like my emails. Please remember this. And Claude can actually store it within its memories and surface emails that are more aligned to what you've done before. So yeah, don't stop there. Keep on feeding it. Claude also has skills folders. So let's say there's a task that you do all the time. Maybe it's emails, maybe it's business cases, performance plans. You can basically give Claude access to that folder. And then every time you ask for a new request on, let's say, building a performance plan, it can fetch from what you've done previously, the style you've written it in, and then reflect that and give you something that's totally aligned to what you've done previously and only aligned to that folder of data. So that's great because, again, you're building an expert AI rather than just a general AI by feeding it more data. But again, just see what the parameters are within your organization and take it from there. That would be my advice. So that's use case 5, meeting automation. It just allows you to be more present and then also have clear action plans after. And if you're like me and struggle with memory, this is great as well because you're allowed to remember. You can just like revisit the notes that the AI has taken for you and remind yourself. And now moving on to use case 6, so policy and compliance assistance. So automating answers to repetitive HR help desk sort of inquiries. I know this can resonate with pretty much everyone in a HR role because there are some questions you answer on loop, right? So, for example, what's the maternity policy? How do I book annual leave? Any of those generalized questions, the same questions from different people every week can actually go towards a HR help desk bot. So we actually have this built inside 5 minutes. So we spent a lot of time building an ethical sort of AI bot, and it would only train on what you've selected. So this can be, your policies. This can be anything from 5 minutes. So maybe our compliance courses. And then the AI chatbot sits within our mobile app and our web platform, and you can ask it questions and it can surface answers there. So that really helps. And we've been very careful because, of course, AI can hallucinate. So we've put strict parameters around that chatbot. So it's only answering based on what it's trained on. So we've got a GDPR chatbot, for example. I've asked it about dinosaurs and it's told me, no way, I don't know anything about that. So make sure when you're building these things, you're keeping that in mind and being very careful. And the AI solution here is really the custom chatbot. So it's trained on your own employee handbook. You can upload PDFs. You can use a custom GPT here or Claude project. This is that enclosed AI chat feature where it's only trained on a selected amount of data and it can only answer on that. You can have that in place, and then your employees can get instant, accurate 24/7 answers, and you can reclaim your inbox, so it's not flooded with questions that you've answered 100 times. Maybe you can, circumvent it to the AI chatbot, or if you use 5 minutes, the Hugo AI chatbot, which we have inside our system as well. But again, word of caution, the key phrase here is based on your specific documents. So you want to avoid a general purpose AI making up plausible sounding answers to policies that don't really reflect your actual policies. So be careful here, and always ground it with your own materials and test it thoroughly before sharing it widely. So that's something the 5 Minutes team has done before publishing it to our customers. We've made sure it's within the parameters and it's trained on very specific data sets. And then on the communication side as well, AI is also brilliant at policy change packs. So one prompt you can give is write me a launch email, a Teams or a Slack message or a FAQ table for this new policy that's going out. Ask it to summarize the policy in plain English so everyone understands it. And then you've got the comms pack ready for this new policy change. And another thing you could also do is if you're ever unsure about a change in employment law affecting your existing policy, particularly relevant right now with everything shifting in the employer rights bills that's happening right now, you can actually ask Gemini or, for example, Claude. You can upload the policy that you have existing if you think that it's within the parameters of the organization, and ask it to cross-check with the new acts and legislations that are going live. So you can actually verify your policies with AI and make sure it's aligned to any new changes that are happening. So those are the 3 things you could possibly do with AI: the chatbot, the communication side of things for new policies, and third, checking your existing policies and whether they're in line with how the world is moving and how legislation is changing as well, because that can be very hard to keep up with. So use AI as your sort of advisor to go ahead and make any changes or adjustments to policies as well. So that would be my advice on use case number 6. Now, on the last use case, performance writing and performance review writing, sorry. So I want to expand this slightly beyond just writing reviews, because I know there's a really powerful use of AI here that goes deeper into the whole performance management cycle. So the pain point here really is managers sometimes dread writing reviews, right? They procrastinate. When they do write them, the feedback is sometimes vague. It can be biased, it's delayed, it's very big picture or focusing on like a very specific instance, and not really the feedback quality where you can, build on from an HR perspective. So what you can do here is you can spend time, of course, chasing people and then coaching them on how to improve their feedback quality. But also AI can fix that first problem, which is the blank page problem. So here's the approach. You can gather your notes, bullet points, examples, key achievements, areas for growth, paste them into AI with a prompt like act as a performance management coach. Use these notes, write a balanced professional performance review that is specific, includes specific development goals, and avoids vague language. That's done. So now you have that, performance plan, structured review placed. It's got a balanced tone, clear examples, actionable steps. You can do that. Also, you can go a step further. So imagine, you've trained your managers on how to give feedback. Do you want to go ahead and test, hey, have they actually implemented that training? You can actually ask AI to be the judge of that. So you can ask with a prompt to AI, act as a performance management coach, analyze these languages in these manager inputs and score them on specificity, on balance, on goals, on professional tone, and flag any critical issues for each manager and give me a coaching plan for that manager. So what you get back is manager scorecards: who's doing well, who needs support, what do they need to work on, and even suggested peer pairings as well. So again, we've got a full webinar on this, on performance management with AI. And in that, Claude actually gives a scorecard for each manager's feedback, and then also suggests like, hey, this is a really great manager. Maybe they should pair up with this lower performing manager. And then that way they can learn from each other. So yeah, you've got an evidence-based targeted approach to coaching. You've got an idea of how your coaching and feedback training needs to be, or is it being acted upon? And then most importantly, you've got the collected key achievements and areas of growth in a very specific format for you to action as well. So that's how you could perhaps use performance review writing and AI and combine them together. Again, this can save you time, your manager's time, and then also give you a plan of which managers may need more help in coaching and feedback as well. Expert tips here. So use a shared access controlled AI account for performance review. So be mindful that confidential employee data entered into AI tools may be accessible to others in your organization. So always check your platform's data governance settings. Make sure that the data that you're feeding in is anonymized and can't be found by others. And tip 2 is the quality of AI generated reviews. So that depends entirely on the quality of your input data. So gather the feedback from multiple sources. Maybe for this performance review writing for a particular employee, you don't just want to rely on managers. Maybe you want to rely on peers, direct reports, project outcomes, clients as well. Before prompting AI to ensure like a well-balanced and well-rounded assessment. But that's the key here, that AI is able to handle multiple different sources. So you can feed in notes from meetings, notes from peers, and then it can give you an accurate picture. So that's also possible as well. And that's the last use case. So this is how we can quantify your time savings. So with each of these 7 use cases, we've calculated that, hey, the roadmap can help reclaim 2 hours here. The recruitment and job descriptions, 4 hours. That can be quite a long, taxing task. Meeting automations is huge. I would actually argue that it can save you beyond 4 hours by having your meetings recorded, transcribed, and summarized into action items. This is something we do regularly. And then all in all, if you were to, think about AI, think about using AI across these 7 use cases, this is how much time you could reclaim in your first 100 days. And I would, again, really encourage you to share your to-do list with an AI tool and ask it to brainstorm, hey, how can you make these things faster for me, easier for me? Any automations you can help me with? And then that way you have very specific answers to your very specific to-do list. But for now, this can spark inspiration. And then, on our platform as well. So we have the world's largest micro lesson library. This is compliance training, but also we have some generative AI training on there as well. So we do specific AI programs that are curated to organizations, but these are general courses where you can actually access. So if you go on 5 Minutes AI, generative AI training, you'd be led to this page and you can book a demo or start getting your free access. And we've got things like how to prompt engineering. We've got different use cases for HR as well. Some of these, like the performance management side of things, we've actually got mini tutorials on the platform as well to break down exactly how it looks in action and the exact prompts. This is where you can access the generative AI micro courses we have. And then across the board, we can even offer personalized AI training for each team. So this is the most common approach to AI training we take. We understand one size doesn't fit all. So we actually have AI for leaders and managers. We're running, again, a program right now with one of the largest medtechs in the world. They're teaching their managers on how to use Copilot better within the 5 Minutes platform with bite-sized lessons. And then we've got AI for sales teams. We've got AI for marketing, customer success. So get in touch if you would like to, run a personalized AI program for your team. And then again, the compliance training offer is also available. So this is our free compliance training for your whole team. So do get in touch and we can share how that works in more detail. So that's a quick run through. I would love to answer questions now. So let's take a look.
We've got one from Louise asking sort of where do managers access the chatbot for policy advice? I suppose there's different places you can deploy them. We've got one deployed in Microsoft Teams, so that is possible, particularly if you build it in Copilot. But yours runs in your app as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So ours is on our app. So our clients just enable the chatbot, and it just is like a little chat in the bottom of our page. But if you're looking to build from scratch, I would actually search YouTube, get some tutorials on how to build custom chatbots. And it depends on which tools are allowed in your organization. So if it's ChatGPT, then you use their custom GPT. If it's Claude, then you use their projects part. But the tools itself, then there's tutorials out there and that can help you start on creating a custom chatbot.
That leads us on to a really good question. So we've had from Joni, how do you approach a business who's very risk averse, blocking all AI tools to employees? Are there resources available that can support in those conversations? So I'll have a couple of ideas here, but then if you've got, see, we're both very AI positive organizations, I guess, Ilan, but do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think here it's about, changing your organization's mind and causing a sort of like cultural shift, right? It seems like they're very like scared of AI. Perhaps maybe I've made the wrong impression, but it sounds like, there's kind of a worry around it. So what I would do here is actually a business case. So maybe to communicate to senior leadership, to communicate to IT, you can say, hey, team, this is how X company and X organization is using AI for this particular use case. This is a huge problem or issue at our organization. This is how we can save time. This is how we can turn this around. So maybe start on particular issues inside your organization. Is it the sales team taking too much time? You losing deals? Is it the HR team being bogged down with a lot of admin? Take one particular use case, build a business case around it, try get approval, and then start building from there. And perhaps if that use case and that business case is solved for, then you can start expanding into other areas and for other problems within the organization that you see can be helped with AI. So yeah, maybe start small here rather than pushing for a really big thing. Start with a small thing, small step, and then build out from there.
Yeah, in some cases, just it's almost like you've got to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, sorry, to find out what is, where is the reservation. Um, yeah, I'd sort of understand if someone was, I don't know, a year or two away from retirement, they might be like, well, I don't have to worry about this. And they'll probably get away with it. But if you're going to be in the workforce, if your organization is going to be existing beyond 5 to 10 years, then you're probably, just like we all have an IT department, you're going to need an AI strategy. So yeah, find something safe, but I would also explain that the standing still is not, you don't get to live in the status quo if you stand still, because organizations are going to move ahead. Your employees are going to be looking, they're going to be doing sort of rogue AI usage, especially if they keep turning up for these webinars. They'll be like, I can do that myself in record time. And that, if without the right policies and everything in place, if you're not giving them direction, if they just go up and do it on their own, that creates further problems as well. So it's not something where you can just simply say and pretend like AI doesn't exist. I don't think that's a sensible approach. But Joni, I'm always happy to jump on calls as well. So if you've got a CEO or whoever wants to jump on a call and have a talk, not me preaching at the person, but I'll happily share some thoughts and probably try and answer some of their questions.
Yeah, but I think key here is understanding what the reservation is and then starting small and building out from there. So yeah, that would be our advice.
There will be areas where you can do it like completely safe. Like there'll be like if you're talking about marketing and you're talking about doing social media posts and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a few risks, but if you look, there'll be areas of your business where like, oh, this is actually a lot safer now. We can work in here, and if it goes wrong, which it really shouldn't, if you've got the right guardrails in place, that the knock-on effects are not going to be huge. So it's about finding those safe, simple steps to start off with.
Yeah, I think there was a common question about sensitive data. So, of
Yes,
course, with
yeah.
sensitive data, we would always advise to anonymize whatever you're putting into the AI tool. So, take away anything that can be identifiable for you, for company, for individuals inside your company. But another thing as well is you can actually turn off some settings, which doesn't allow anything that you're uploading into Claude, into ChatGPT for the AI tools to be trained on in the future. So you can actually go into the settings and turn this off. So they're not using anything you're uploading to better their models. So I would definitely recommend that. It's very simple. ChatGPT settings, I think it's called privacy, and then you toggle it off. Same on Claude.
I can probably show that in a second,
Yeah.
but yeah, just so everyone understands the training of that data, what that means is if I'm running, if I'm based in Kentucky and I'm running a fried chicken outlet and I've got these 11 secret herbs and spices as a recipe, and I share that because I want it into a company memo or something, a presentation, then someone down the road at Tennessee Fried Chicken, sorry for the rubbish pun here, if they go, do you know, what would you recommend as a recipe? Then it's not guaranteed that the AI will recommend that, but if it sees it as high quality, good content, and someone's really solved this problem, it will say, well, yeah, here's a really good solution to that problem. And because you fed it that wonderful secret confidential intelligence. So a lot of what you might share would be the same inane stuff that me and Ilham would be sharing, but it's just a good rule across the whole thing to say nothing gets passed up to improve the model, so it could then share it back to another user in some different.
Yeah, exactly. So toggle that off, make sure it's not training on your data while you're asleep, essentially. And yeah, sensitive data, please do anonymize it. Fab.
Brilliant. I can share that. I know you're going to do a quick. We might have another couple of questions, but we're almost there. Let me just quickly show you on ChatGPT into your settings, and you'll have settings here. I've got workspace settings. Ignore that because we've got Teams account into settings, and it is simply a matter of data controls, I think. Yeah, and you'll see it phrased, it's quite cunningly phrased, improve the model for everyone. So turn that off because improve the model means sharing your data. So you want to turn that off as standard.
And
Okay,
you can do this on the free version. You can do this on the paid version as well.
exactly. Okay, so I'll stop sharing. Do we have any other questions coming through? We are going to share the slides, we'll share the recording. Yeah, and I think maybe a lot of what we're probably trying to do today, some of you might be more technical. Some of you it's probably just giving you ideas of what's possible, that you go and talk to your IT and maybe there's AI resource in your organization and say, like, I want to, it'd be great if we can look at this as a project or that as a project. Because I'm sure other departments are making suggestions into those IT departments as well. So it just shows you what's possible. And then they might work alongside you if some of this looks a bit too technically difficult in some cases.
Yeah. Emma asks, is there a quick and easy way to anonymize data? When submitting a large amount of exit interview feedback, it takes quite a long time. So I actually just use a find and replace in Excel. So first of all, remove any columns that, mention the employee names, and then do a simple find and replace. So every time it mentions Adrian, maybe you can say tomato or something. Like you can do that. It might take, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's worth doing and spending that time.
Yeah, there are. I was doing a bit of research. There are actual software tools you can run locally on your machine, but we are getting into the realm of technical. So if your organization is processing lots of data and you want to be able to shovel it into AI and quickly anonymize it at scale, and it's a large amount of data, there is technical solutions where you can run it locally on your machine. It doesn't. You're not sharing it with AI. And there are ways of doing it, but it is technical. There's no easy solution apart from control to replace, or if it's as simple as it's a spreadsheet and you're just deleting columns, obviously that's quite easy
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And also, AI does a lot with even little data at this moment. So sometimes, like all the columns aren't needed, and it just needs one sort of column with a qualitative feedback for you to start doing the analysis and start sharing the findings. So less is becoming more with AI tools because they're getting so clever. Great. I don't think
Yes.
there's any other questions. So what I'd love to do is share more about 5 Minutes AI and what we do in terms of the product itself.
Yeah, just turn off my video. I'll let you do your walkthrough demo for people who are interested in it, and just let them know how they can reach out to you if they are interested, obviously. So are you going to be sharing your screen?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just wait, I'll let you know when your screen is coming up.
Okay, let me share once more. Sorry, my laptop is going a bit crazy.
It's not even 11 o'clock yet, Emma. Your laptop shouldn't be. You've been working it too hard. If it's, you've probably got too many 57 browsers sessions open or something. If
Most likely. Okay, let me share one more time and hopefully it doesn't kick me out. Great. I'm sharing my screen.
yeah, coming through.
Okay, amazing. So, 5 Minutes AI, who are we? What do we do? So, we are a micro learning platform. So, what that means is think compliance training, think leadership training, any training for role based, except for engineers. We don't teach engineers. Any training that you have can be done in less time. So, how we do that is three ways. So, first is our compliance training library. So, that's our CPD ROSPA accredited. Second is our expert library. So, these are 20,000 lessons. Think leadership from Simon Sinek, London Business School, teaching and negotiation. And then the third source that we pull from is your own training that you upload into the system. So you have three ways to teach your employees in a shorter, faster format. And it works like this. So we are a mobile platform, and I'm sharing the web platform today. This is how it works on the compliance side. So employees log in straight away on their dashboard. They have the courses waiting for them. We've got a library of 150 plus compliance courses, financial compliance, HR, cybersecurity. And on average, if you use like other sort of compliance providers, we've benchmarked against them. So, for example, iHasco, VinciWorks, Skillcast, and we find on average, we cut 17 minutes per course. So, if you are doing 10 courses at the moment with a long form provider, we can reduce that time and give hours back to your company. Same accreditation, less fluff, and our courses are accredited as well. And it's delivered in this like TikTok style feed. So this one on harassment, it has due dates, pass scores, certificates, delivered in a TikTok like feed, scenario tests at the end. And then, yeah, your people are compliant faster. And yeah, you can do the training in less time. So if you're interested on the compliance side, I can share our library. But then beyond that, we actually have a full learning management system. We have a full learning platform that we can help with as well. So this is how that side works. So first of all, employees log in and we create a skills matrix with the hard and soft skills they need in that particular role. So we work across hundreds of different industries, from construction to hospitality to financial services to banks. And we've created skills matrices that you can also customize for each role inside the organization. So James here, he's a salesperson. He's learning skills like negotiation, closing and objection handling, questioning and discovery. Managers who log in, they have a management leadership map. So that includes skills like people management, performance management, and this becomes the brain of the platform. Now, each recommendation James will get as a people leader, as a salesperson, will be based on the skills he needs to learn on his role. And then over time, you get a picture of your people, your company, your team, and what level they are across those key skills. And this can be customized. So if you have your own skills, your own competencies, you can plug that in. But what this creates is a hyper personalized, skill based learning experience. So now each recommendation that goes to James will be based on the skills he needs to learn on his map. And this is delivered through our TikTok style feed. So each lesson, an expert is matched to you. This is an MTV presenter teaching me communication. My next lesson is a KPMG coach teaching me more about mental well-being. But the idea is, instead of doom scrolling, you can provide learn scrolling to your company and your organization. So it's great if you're looking for a learning management system, a learning platform that has the content already loaded. We can provide that. We've got bite-sized books on the platform. You can go ahead and add any of your own training to the system as well, and we can provide training and tracking on that. So perhaps it's, onboarding we can help with. Maybe it's you've got long form documents, PowerPoints. You can go ahead and bite size that on the platform as well into mini flashcards and have that assigned to your people. But the idea is it's one system for everything. So it's one system for compliance trainings, audits, reporting, certifications. It's one system for self-led development when you want to give power to your people to learn in their own time. And then it's one system for your own content, training, etc. So that's what we offer. And we're very cost effective. And I'd be happy to brainstorm how we could help out your organization. So if you're looking for a learning management system, you're looking for training for your people across different areas, or something that's more sharper across compliance, we'd be happy to pick up the conversation. And there's so much more to the platform that I'd love to show you. So we've got like gamification in place, team managers views as well, leaderboards. We've got learn and earn features where the more you learn, the higher amount of jewels you get that can be exchanged for donations to charities, as well as rewards. But yeah, the idea is more engagement, faster, and we see the stats as well. So I'd be happy to share any case studies. But yeah, that's a quick tour of 5 Minutes AI. And even on the back end, we automate everything. So the idea is for HR people, you shouldn't be there, trying to figure out who needs to learn what. You shouldn't be there chasing people for completion either. We've got automations in place to do that for you. So you sit back and just enjoy the reports. But yeah, that was a quick deep dive of 5 Minutes AI. If there are particular use cases you'd like to talk through, learning challenges, compliance challenges, do get in touch.
Excellent. Thank you, Ilham. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. That was a nice, I'm sure you can do a longer, more detailed demo as well if people need that, but that was a good overview, definitely in 10 minutes. So we are coming up to 11, guys. So we will leave you to get a cup of tea before your next meeting. And I'll thank you, Ilham, and thank James as well in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Bye bye.